1. Hi, I'm Karen Russell, and this is Alan Walls, and we're going to go over the posture, the asana, Prasarita Padottanasana, also known as intense wide leg stretch. Once again, this is a posture that you wouldn't do in a flow. You're really getting deep into the hamstrings and the low back. So we're going to go through it slowly so you don't injure yourself, but also get a great advantage of the stretching and the cooling possibilities of this posture too as you forward fold. So we're going to start. How do you measure your width, right? You never know how you measure the width. So there is some theories that your ankles match with your wrists, so you can go as wide. So Alan's going to go. I would move over a little bit that way. Yeah. So do what's right for you. What if you have short arms or extra long arms? That theory might not work as well. So kind of feel where you're wide enough that you're really gonna get a deep stretch, okay? We start with the platforms. He's rooting down through the feet. Try to keep your feet more parallel. How do you do that? You line the sides of the feet with the sides of the mat. If you have sciatica issues, you might want a little more opening in the back body, so you might pigeon toe your toes in just a little bit, but not too much. But make sure that you're parallel, your feet are really nicely parallel with the sides of the mat, and you can always look, okay? Now, because we don't know how stretched out the back of our legs are, and I don't, even if you've been practicing for years and years and years, you might have days where you're tighter. Right, depending. Maybe you're taking a class too that isn't really working on the hamstrings and all of a sudden you go into this. So learn to protect yourself, learn how to do these postures so you can adapt to your own practice. So we're going to start with the hands on the hips. All right, so he has the feet to protect the knees, he's grounding down. Same thing, the pelvic area, lift the frontal hip bones up, the flesh of the buttocks down, stacking. Shoulders stack over the hips, shoulder blades back and down. Nice chin, his chin is nice. It's not too locked down or looking up. So nice long line in the spine. That's where you start. Now, some people will bring their hands straight out. There's nothing wrong with that. There's different styles of yoga, different lineages of yoga. I'm going to have Alan place his hands on his hips because it will be a little bit more stable. And as he forward folds, he's going to micro bend his knees to forward fold. And then once we get there, we can learn that, how to activate the back of the legs and the knees. So he's going to inhale, lift the chest up, and then exhale, micro bend the knees and slowly forward fold, and then start to reach the hands down. Now, Alan can probably go all the way. He could probably bring his head all the way down and his hands on the ankles. Fabulous, right? That's great. But I don't know, sometimes, that can be really hard, right? So don't get caught up. But that is a beautiful Prasarita Padottanasana. But what if you can't get that far? So we have these blocks. So Al, why don't you show how you could use the blocks on different levels, right? So there's the lower level, and then the medium level. Well, that's the high level, so that's good. Medium, and then high, right? So if you can't get to the ground, right, you can reach for the block, and that's fine, all right? So let's talk about the legs and the knees. So Iyengar style believes that the only way that you really get your legs and knees strong is that you don't always microbend, right? So I understand that theory, but sometimes you don't want to blow out your knees or have extra strain in your knees, and you need to be stronger to really straighten them. So what you can do, what's great about this, is that if you bring the floor to you or use props and blocks, maybe even a chair if you need a little bit more height, then you can root through the feet to lift the energy up through the knees and start to get stronger. Now remember, it's the power of rooting through the feet and then drawing that energy up to protect the knees, right? It's not just let's push our knees back and straighten our legs, because that's hyperextension, and we don't want to do that. So you want to make sure your weight is a little bit more forward on the feet, that it's not just hanging out in the heels. You'll see sometimes over-flexible people push their knees back and really roll back. One way of finding that alignment is that the ankle is in line with the hip. So if your hips are way back, you need to bring that weight a little bit more forward. And from here, now say if you still need to microbend and you're trying your best, then go ahead and microbend. There's nothing wrong with that. And you will get stronger. But you have to do the work, right? So even though you have the props, still be pushing down. Alan's really pushing into the earth to draw up. He's really drawing the navel in. You see his shoulder blades are working, right? And then from here, you can relax over, let the head relax, right? Everything relax, and that's okay, right? Shake out the head and neck, you know. There's many variations with the hands, so you can put your hands like tripod hands on the floor, right? You can, like how he was doing, grabbing the ankles. Sometimes people do yogi toe lock. There's different variations. Just make sure that you're not putting that weight on the knee. And then of course, he can use the blocks and come up a little bit. So from Prasarita Padottanasana, you can also do some side stretching. So you can take the block with you or whatever and put it like right in front of the face. And what we're gonna do is just a nice little twist in this. So he's gonna root his left hand down and lift the right arm up. Now opposition. As he's doing that, notice the left hip wants to fall. So he's gonna draw that left hip back. He's gonna inhale through the chest. Go back to the 3 platforms, pressing down, drawing the navel in, flesh the buttocks down to the heels, drawing the shoulder blades back in every posture. And then keep drawing the left shoulder blade back in the socket, left hip back. Yeah. And then this is where you can use your breath work, right? You can breathe right in the back body. Place it there to give you a little more stability. Same with your mula bandhs. You can draw the pelvic floor in and up here to help. And then the other side. Why don't you do the other side? That way you'll feel good. So you want to get side body long first. Alan has a nice side body long. What does that mean? From hip to armpit, nice and long. And then he starts to open up, and as he opens up to the left, he's drawing the right hip back more, out more, drawing the shoulder blade back more, right hip more, right? Good. And opening up the heart. His drishti, his focus is soft, maybe looking at the fingers. And then exhale, bring it down. So just as getting into the posture, getting out of the posture is just as important. So we want to do it with a lot of intention. So he's going to inhale, place the hands on the hips, micro-bend the knees, and start to come up. If you can come up flat back, great. It's a lot more work, and come all the way up to standing. And then always take a moment, relax, shake your hips, shake your feet, you do what you can. So this posture is intense, spread leg stretch, Prasarita Padottanasana.